Hind everyone, myself Dr. Vandana Sharma from Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. My subject is Engineering Physics, code is KS101T, and the topic which I have started, that topic is wave optics. So in wave optics, there are two topics which are related to optics we are going to discuss in this chapter. The first one is interference and the second one is diffraction. And in my last lecture, I have already discussed about the interference pattern, that how we will get interference pattern, what are the conditions which must be fulfilled in order to get a sustained interference pattern. We have discussed about coherent sources and the methods through which we can get those coherent sources. So we have discussed about division of wavefront as well as division of amplitude. We have discussed about various examples of division of wavefront as well as division of amplitude. These are the textbooks or reference books which you can follow in order to cover this topic of interference. So a textbook of engineering physics by Navneet Gupta, textbook of optics by Ajoy Ghatak, engineering physics by S.K. Gupta and S.L. Gupta, and some internet links are also there from where you can have information about this topic of wave optics. So the topics which will be covered under this interference, these topics are mentioned over here. We have already covered this introduction part. Just give me 1 minute. So we have already covered this this introduction part: interference, type of interference, condition of interference, coherent sources, and methods to obtain coherent sources. So we have already discussed all these things in our last lecture. The topic which today I am going to discuss, that is interference in thin films, and basically I am going to discuss thin films of uniform thickness today. So this is a topic of discussion for today. So interference in thin films of uniform thickness. So a film is said to be thin when its thickness is about the order of wavelength of visible light. So you know that visible light, that is of wavelength starting from 4000 angstrom to 8000 angstrom. So if you have a thin film of this particular order, if you have a thin film of the order of wavelength of visible light, then you will say that is a thin film. And a soap bubble, that is an example of a thin film, where you have a thin film of very small thickness, and a thin sheet of transparent material such as glass, mica, etc. are treated as thin films. When a thin film of oil spreads on surface of water and exposed to white light, beautiful colors are seen. So you must have seen this, that if there is a layer of oil on the surface of water, and if white light will incident over this, then you will see some colors over that oil film. So basically those colors are nothing, those colors are an interference pattern. Similarly, similar color phenomena is observed when a soap film illuminated with white light. So you all must have seen this, that when a soap bubble that is illuminated in white light, when white light will incident over it, you are going to get a beautiful rainbow, you are going to get beautiful colors on that soap film, or you can say soap bubble. So again, that is an example of division of amplitude, that is an example of an interference pattern. So these are the examples of interference in thin films of uniform thickness. Consider a parallel transparent thin film of thickness T and a refractive index mu, where mu is greater than 1. So mu greater than 1 means that a refractive index of that thin film is greater than air. A ray of monochromatic light AB incident at an angle I is partly reflected and partly refracted. So let me explain it with the help of a diagram here. So I am referring this diagram here. So you have this thin film. This is a thin film of thickness T. This T is the thickness of this thin film. Since it is a thin film of uniform thickness, so this T will be same everywhere. You have a source of light here. So a source of light is kept at this particular position, and this source of light that will illuminate this thin film. Now in this thin film, you are having two parts, or you can say there is upper part of this thin film. Let XX dash, I am representing the upper layer or upper part of that thin film by XX dash, and this YY dash that represents the lower part of this thin film. This mu, that is the refractive index of this thin film, and this mu is greater than 1, because you know that the refractive index of air, that is 1, and the thin film which we are taking here, that is having a refractive index greater than 1. So when light from a monochromatic source of light will incident over this thin film, or you can say over the upper part of this thin film, then at this point, this is the point of incidence. At this particular point, some part of the light will be reflected. This is the reflected part, this is the reflected ray, and some part will be transmitted. So this one is the reflected ray and this one is the transmitted ray. Reflected part that will move toward this direction, and transmitted part that will move into that thin film. Now over this point C, since again you are having an interface of two mediums, you are having this thin film of refractive index mu, and along this direction you are having air as that medium. So again at this particular position, some part of the light will be reflected. So this one is the reflected portion and some will be transmitted. So this is the transmitted part and this one is the reflected part. So now this light ray that will reach over the upper part of the thin film. So over this point D, again we are having an interface of two mediums. So some part of the light will be reflected. So this one is a reflected part and some will be transmitted. So now you can see you are having these two rays. One is R1, and if you will see it carefully, then you can observe that this R1 that is reflected from upper part of the thin film. And if you will see this second ray R2, and if you will carefully observe it, then you can see that this R2 is basically originated from this point C. So you can say R1 is reflected from upper part of thin film and this R2 that is reflected from lower part of the thin film. So we can say we are having two reflected rays. So that's why they are represented by R1 and R2. And one more interesting point is there, that these two rays, that is R1 as well as R2, they are generated from same ray, that is ray AB, that is divided into the amplitude of that ray is dividing, and because of the division of that amplitude you are getting these reflected rays. So now the next point is that this T is very small, and as I have already mentioned that the thickness of this thin film that is of very small, that is of the order of wavelength of visible light, and you know visible light that is of very short wavelength starting from 4000 angstrom to roughly 8000 angstrom. So if you have a thin film of such a small thickness, then these two rays, that is your ray R1 and R2, these rays are very close to each other. They are appearing like parallel rays, but they are not parallel rays. They are two light rays which are very close to each other. So when they are close to each other, they will get superimposed. And when R1 and R2 will get superimposed, after the superimposition, what you will get? You will get an interference pattern. Means at certain point, the intensity of those interfering rays, that will be the resultant intensity will be greater than the sum of individual intensities of these two, and those points will be points of maximas. And there will be certain points where the intensity of these interfering rays, or you can say that resultant ray which is the outcome of these two, the intensity is lesser than the sum of individual intensities. Or I can say in simple words, there will be certain points where you are going to get maximas, there will be certain points where you are going to get minimas. So because of the interference between these two, you are going to get an interference pattern. One more point is there, you are having these two rays, one is T1 and another one is T2, and these two rays, they are actually transmitted from this thin film. One is transmitted from upper part of this thin film and other one is transmitted from the lower part of this thin film. So T1 that is transmitted from upper part of thin film, T2 is transmitted from the lower part of thin film. And again the same logic, that this T is very small, these rays are very close to each other. So if they are close to each other, they are going to superimpose, and if they will get superimposed, what you will get? You are going to get an interference pattern. So you are going to observe two type of interference pattern which are totally complementary to each other. One of the interference pattern is because of the superimposition of these reflected rays, and the second interference pattern is because of the combination of these transmitted rays. So you are going to get a reflected system where the reflected rays will superimpose, and you are going to get an interference pattern where the transmitted rays are going to superimpose. But the interesting point for these two systems, or you can say reflector or transmitter system, the interesting point is that these two systems are complementary to each other. Complementary means the points where you are going to get maximas and reflected, those will be the points of minimas and transmitted, and the points of minimas and reflected will be the points of maximas and transmitted. So we will see that by simplifying this ray diagram, you will get that result for reflected and transmitted rays. So I am going to start with the reflected portion. So but before that reflected portion, I would like to highlight some angles here and some sides here, value of some sides here. As you can see that at this point B, some part of the light is reflected and some is transmitted. So this is the normal on the upper part of that thin film. So at this point, this incident ray, this ray makes an angle I. So this is your angle of incidence here, and this one, since it is a normal on upper surface, so the refracted ray that is making this angle with the normal. So this is your angle R. This is I. This is R. This will be R. This angle will be R. This since this is I, this angle is also I. So you can see this total angle is 90. So the remaining will be 90 minus I. This is 90. So now you are having this triangle. How you are getting this triangle? Since R1 and R2, so let me explain that. This R1 and R2, these two are reflected rays, and they will get superimposed, and you will get interference pattern. Now in the interference pattern, at certain points you are having maximas, at certain points you are having minimas. Now where you will get maxima, where you will get minima, that will be totally decided by the part difference between these two. So the part difference between R1 and R2, that is going to decide the points of maximas and minimas. So in order to find the part difference, what you have to do, you have to draw a normal from this point D on this line R1. So when you will draw a normal from D on R1, then this N, this particular point, point is the foot of normal. So now you can see this is I, this one is also I. So the remaining angle will be, so give me 1 minute. So this is I, this is also I. So the remaining angle is, this one is 90 minus I. So if this is 90 minus I, so you have drawn a perpendicular here, this is 90. So this particular angle will be I. So this angle is your I. And next point is, this angle is R, this one is also R, this will be your R, this is R, and so on. Right? And if you want to find the interference pattern for these transmitted rays, then you have to draw a normal from E on this line T1, because if you will see beyond this line KE, both the paths will be same. So the part difference that will be calculated if you will draw a normal from E on this line T1. So now you have to find the part difference between the reflected rays in case of reflected system, and in order to describe the transmitted system, you have to find the part difference between transmitted rays. So now the first point which I am going to discuss here, that the interference pattern due to reflected system. So I will discuss that reflected system. So in order to find the part difference between these reflected rays, so you have to observe R1 and R2 carefully. So if you will see R1 and R2, then the part difference between these two, that is between R1 and R2, that part difference is basically this BC plus CD, this optical path BC and CD which is in this thin film minus this BN. That will be your part difference between R1 and R2. What I am saying, beyond this line ND, both the optical paths are equal. It means now I can say this R1 is originating from this particular position and R2 is originating from this position. So if you want to find the part difference between these two, then this BC plus CD minus this BN will be the part difference. But this BC and CD, that is in medium, that is in this thin film, and this BN is in air. So in order to convert all the paths in terms of path in air or in medium, so what we have to do, if you want to convert this BC and CD in terms of air, then you have to multiply that BC and CD with the refractive index of this thin film. So basically in reflected system, the part difference between R1 and R2, that will be mu times BC plus CD minus BN. So this is the part difference between R1 and R2, and basically this part difference is going to decide the conditions of maximas and minimas. So now our objective is to find the value of this BC and CD and BN. So if you can find all these values, then you can simply find the part difference and you can get the conditions of maximas and minimas. So now we are going to find this BC, CD and BN. So as I mentioned, the part difference is mu times BC plus CD minus BN. So you have to find now BC, CD and BN. So again I am referring the same diagram here. So you can see, if you want to find this BC, then you have to take a triangle. So which triangle I am taking? I am taking this triangle number 1. Your triangle number 1 is CMB. So in this triangle CMB, one side is known. This CM is known. What is CM? CM is basically the thickness of this thin film. So this CM is actually, so this CM is T. So you know this side is T, this angle is R, this angle is also R. So I am taking triangle CMB. In this triangle, what will be your cos R? If you want to find cos R, it will be, the value of cos R is from here, this is CM upon BC. From this triangle, CM upon BC is cos R. So what is your BC? What will be the value of BC? BC will be equal to CM upon cos R. And what is your CM? It is T. It means the value of BC is T upon cos R. So now we have the value of this BC. We have our first side BC from this triangle as T upon cos R. Now next one is, we will calculate this CD. So now you require this CD. For this CD, we are having this triangle number 2. Now I am referring this triangle CMD. If you will see this CMD, then in this CMD, what is cos R? Again I am calculating cos R from this triangle. So from this triangle, cos R is your CM upon CD. So what is the value of CD? CD is equal to CM upon cos R. And you know what is CM? It is T. So this is T upon cos R. So now you have BC as T upon cos R, you have CD as T upon cos R. So we have calculated these two sides. So what we have now? We have BC as well as CD as T cos R. So now you are having this equation number 2. Both the sides, they are equal to T upon cos R. So as I have discussed with the help of this diagram, that BC and CD both are equal and both are equal to T upon cos R. Now the remaining factor is this BN. So now we have to find that BN. So in order to find this BN, again I am referring the same diagram here. So in order to find this BN, you have to take triangle, this particular triangle BDN. Now in this triangle, if you can find one side, then one angle is known, that is I. So if you can calculate this BD, and you can calculate this BD just by calculating BM and MD. So BM can be calculated from triangle number 1 and this MD can be calculated from 2. And if BM and MD is known, then BD is the sum of these two. So what will be BM? From triangle number 1, BM upon your CM, that is perpendicular upon base, that will be equal to tan R. So you have this BM is equal to, this BM is equal to BM upon this is CM. So this BM upon CM is equal to tan R. So BM will be equal to CM tan R. And what is the value of CM? You know the CM is thickness, that is equal to T tan R. So you have this value of BM which is equal to T tan R. Now take triangle, second triangle, and this triangle again find the value of tan R. So what will be tan R? It will be equal to MD upon CM. So your MD upon CM, that is equal to tan R. So what will be this MD? It means MD is equal to CM tan R. And you know what is CM? This is CM, this is T tan R. So this is T. So what you are getting? Your side BM is T tan R, MD is also T tan R. So what is BD? So the total BD is the sum of these two, that is equal to 2T tan R. So now you have the value of this BD. BD is equal to 2T tan R. Now in this triangle we have to find BN. So I'm referring triangle number 3. Now in triangle number 3, this angle is I and this side is known. So just find the value of sine I from this triangle. So what will be sine I? Sine I will be equal to Bn upon Bd, and you know already know the value of Bd. So what is the value of sine I? We have to find Bn. So Bn will be equal to Bd sine I, and your Bd is already equal to, what is the value of Bd? That is equal to 2t tan r. So now you are getting, this is 2t tan r into sine I. So this is the value of Bn from triangle number 3. From triangle number 1, we have BC, which is t upon cos r. From triangle number 2, we have CD, which is t upon cos r. From triangle number 3, we have Bn, which is 2t tan r sin I. So now we will substitute all these values in part difference, and we will get that part difference. So now you have this. So as I have already discussed, that this Bn is equal to 2t tan, this Bn is equal to 2t tan r into sin I. So substitute all these values in part difference. But before that, what I am going to do here, you know, according to Snell's law, mu is equal to sine I upon sine r, right? So from here, what will be sine I? It will be equal to mu sine r. So you can substitute this this value here. So if you will substitute this sine I as mu sine r, so this will be mu sine r, and tan r is sine r upon cos r. So finally you are going to get Bn is equal to 2 mu t sine square r upon cos r. So now you have all the terms. You have the value of this BC, CD and Bn. So just substitute all those values. So you will get the part difference. So that part difference is 2 mu t cos r minus 2 mu t sin square r upon cos r. You can see here 2 mu t upon cos r is common. So in the bracket you are getting 1 minus sin square r, which is your cos square r. So if you are getting this 2 mu t cos square, this is cos square r upon cos r, then this will become 2 mu t cos r only. So now you are reaching at equation number 5. So the part difference that comes out to be 2 mu t cos r. But as you can see from this picture, that ray number 1, that is your ray R1, since it is reflected from a denser medium, this ray is reflected from this thin film of refractive index mu, which is greater than 1, and along this direction you are having air. So since R1 is reflected from a denser medium, so according to Stokes treatment, whenever a light ray is reflected from a denser medium, there will be an additional phase change of pi, or you can say there will be an additional part difference of lambda by 2. So since R1 is reflected from this denser medium, so we have to introduce that additional part difference of lambda by 2. So now that part difference is introduced. So the reflected ray R1 is reflected from denser medium, so there will be an additional phase difference of pi, or you can say a part difference of lambda by 2, right? So this delta will be equal to, so the effective part difference, this was the part difference, but now according to Stokes treatment, the effective part difference will be equal to this 2 mu t cos r plus minus lambda by 2, either plus lambda by 2, either plus pi or minus pi, or you can say plus lambda by 2 or minus lambda by 2. So now this is the part difference. Now this part difference will decide the conditions for maximas and minimas. So in order to get the condition of maxima or minima, for maxima the part difference that should be even multiple of lambda by 2. This is the condition of maxima, and the condition of minima is that part difference should be odd multiple of lambda by 2. So using these general conditions, we will derive the condition of maxima and minima here. So I am going to start with maxima. So for maxima, this part difference should be even multiple of lambda by 2. So either I will write 2n lambda by 2 or simply n lambda. So if you will substitute this part difference here, part difference 2 mu t cos r plus minus lambda by 2 in the condition of maxima, then finally we are getting this equation number 6. So this equation number 6, this is the condition of maxima for a thin film of uniform thickness, which is having a refractive index mu and a thickness t. So 2 mu t cos r is equal to 2n plus minus 1 lambda by 2 represents the condition of maxima. Similarly, we will find the condition of minima. And for minima or dark band, as I have already mentioned, that the part difference for minima should be odd multiple of lambda by 2. So when you are taking this condition odd multiple of lambda by 2, you know part difference is, we have already calculated, it is 2 mu t cos r plus minus lambda by 2. So when you will substitute this, you are getting this equation number 7. So this equation number 7 that represents the condition of minima here. So now I am concluding all the results which we have derived for this thin film of uniform thickness. So for a thin film of uniform thickness, the part difference that is equal to 2 mu t cos r plus minus lambda by 2. So actually you are getting this part difference, but since one of the ray, that is your ray R1, that was reflected from a denser medium, so you are having this additional phase change of additional part difference of lambda by 2 here. The condition of maxima, so when you will substitute the general condition of maxima in case of this thin film, then the condition of maxima that comes out to be 2 mu t cos r is equal to 2n plus minus 1 lambda by 2. So this is the condition of maxima, and the condition of minima is 2 mu t cos r is equal to n lambda. So this is about your thin film of uniform thickness. And one more point I would like to highlight here. Just see this expression, delta is equal to 2 mu t cos r plus minus lambda by 2. If I am saying that you have an excessively thin film, means you have a thin film and its thickness is very small. It is very small with respect to the wavelength of light which we are using. Suppose it is very small with respect to your visible light, wavelength of visible light. If t is very small, if you have an excessively thin film, if t is very small with respect to lambda, it means, just give me 1 minute, it means this particular factor, this t is very small, this factor is very small. So now this factor can be neglected with respect to this wavelength, with respect to the second factor lambda by 2. So for an excessively thin film, this delta that will be equal to lambda by 2. So in this case, delta will be lambda by 2 everywhere, plus minus lambda by 2 I can write. And you know this plus minus lambda by 2 that represents the condition of minima. It is odd multiple of lambda by 2, and whenever you have part difference as odd multiple of lambda by 2, then that represents the condition of minima. It means that excessively thin film that will appear dark in reflected system. I hope this point is clear. What I am telling you, that the part difference for a reflected system is 2 mu t cos r plus minus lambda by 2. But if you have an excessively thin film, in excessively thin film, this t is very small with respect to the wavelength of light which we are using. So in that case, we can neglect this first factor with respect to the second one, with respect to the wavelength. So delta is lambda by 2 everywhere. It means an excessively thin film will appear dark in reflected system. So that's all about this interference in thin film of uniform thickness in reflected light. Similarly, we will discuss this transmitted system. This diagram is just similar to the diagram of reflected case. You can see these are the reflected rays and these are the transmitted rays. So we are going to adopt the similar method which we have taken for reflected rays to decide the conditions of maximas and minimas. So if you want to find the maxima or minima condition in case of transmitted ray, then you have to draw a normal from E on this line T1. So now if you will see beyond this line EK, both the optical paths will be equal. So now we have to decide what is the path difference between T1 and T2. So if you will see here, then these two rays, T1 is originated from this point and T2 from here. So the path difference between T1 and T2, that will be CD plus DE minus CK. And again you can see this CD and DE, that is in medium, and this CK, that is in air. So if I will write the path difference here, then this path difference will be mu times CD plus DE minus CK. This is the path difference. And again we are going to adopt the same method to find this CD. We are going to use this triangle number 1. To find the value of DE, we are going to use this triangle number 2. And in order to find the CK, we are going to use this triangle number 3. So you know this angle is R, this is R, this will be R, this will be R, this angle is I, this one is also I, this is 90 minus I. So that is the reason this angle is also I. So as we have calculated this BC and CD in that reflected system, similarly we will calculate this CD and DE, and that CD and DE, that will take same value as in reflected system. So this geometrically CD and DE will be equal, and that will be equal to T upon cos R, right? And then we will calculate this CK, and in order to find that CK, first you have to find CL and then LE, and CL and LE both will be same, that will be T tan I, and after simplifying you will get this CE will be equal to 2T tan I. So in order to find that CK, you have to find the value of sine I from this triangle. So that will be 2T tan R into sine I. After that you will substitute this sine I from Snell's law as mu sine R, and after simplifying you will get a similar type of result there. Your CD and DE, as I have discussed, both will be equal to T upon cos R. Then your CK, that will be 2T tan R sin I. So your CK, that is 2T tan R sin I, and your sin I will be equal to mu sin R, right? So you will get, finally after substituting, you will get this part difference here. So for the transmitted system, this is the part difference, and no Stokes treatment is applicable for transmitted rays. That Stokes treatment is applicable only for reflected rays. So this is the final part difference between T1 and T2. Now this part difference is going to decide the conditions of maximas and minimas. So using this part difference, now we will decide the conditions of maximas and minimas, and you know what is the condition of maxima and what is the condition of minima. For maxima, part difference should be even multiple of lambda by 2, or you can say 2n lambda by 2 or n lambda. So you know what is the part difference between T1 and T2, that is 2 mu T cos R. So this is the condition of maxima. And for minima, you know the part difference should be odd multiple of lambda by 2. So using that condition, that part difference should be odd multiple of lambda by 2 for for minima, and you are substituting the value of part difference here. This is your condition of minima, right? So this is your minima, and this represents maxima, and you can see that these conditions are just opposite to the conditions of reflector system. And one more point is there, that since in transmitted system this is 2 mu T cos R, part difference is this. So if you have an excessively thin film, then this T is very small, it is approaching to 0, then delta is equal to 0. It means in transmitted system, for excessively thin film, delta will be 0 everywhere, and that represents the condition of maxima. So there will be uniform illumination everywhere, whereas in reflected system, that thin film of uniform thickness, that will appear dark. That excessively thin film will appear dark and reflected, right? Whereas in transmitted, it will appear bright, right? So uniform illumination is there. So this is about your interference in thin film of uniform thickness for reflected as well as for transmitted ray. So in next lecture, we will discuss about interference in thin films of non-uniform thickness, which is also known as bedsheet film. So this will be the point of discussion for next lecture. So thank you very much for today. Thank you.